Hey everyone, welcome to episode 44 of Diary of Multi-Faceted Mama. I just had a blank brain moment for a second there, but I just wanted to talk with you all today. You know, I've been really doing a lot of reflection around my focus. And where I want my focus to be, not just from moment to moment, although that is definitely the case, but also in this season of my life. And I try to check in on, what season of my life am I in right now? And during this season of my life, where do I want my focus to be? And what kind of lifestyle do I want to be living during this season of my life, knowing that it's both intentional and also temporary, right? And by that, I mean, the kind of life that I'm living now, the lifestyle that I'm living now, the season that I'm in right now, there's always going to be an ebb and flow to it. There's always going to be transitions within it, before it, after it. There's always going to be that. And so I want to be intentional in where I'm focusing and how I'm showing up for it, in the way that I am even thinking about it and conceptualizing it. And also I know that this is a portion of my life. It is not my forever season. It is not my forever lifestyle to the T, right? All the details that make up my day-to-day and my scheduling and all of that stuff. Like that's it's not going to be like this forever. There's going to be changes, right? So I have a 9-month-old, and I have an almost high school, one that's going into high school, and I have one that's almost finished elementary school, and I have another one that's starting first grade, right? And I have a dog, and I have and we have these home renovations that we're doing and ones that we're prepping for. And this is the season of life I'm in right now, a season of life that I want to call my attention to focus on my family and on the home and the lifestyle that we're building together and my presence with them. And also I want my passion, my professional passion, my personal passion that kind of bleeds outside of my family life. I want that to come from this place, the depths of my heart, the depths of my soul, and therefore it has to also be connected with what I'm doing in my life as a parent and as a partner and as all of these other things. So it's all connected. To me, it's all connected. Which means that there's seasons in my life, not just as a parent, because my kids are different ages, but just as a person, right? As a professional, as a citizen, like the capacity that I have to volunteer, to give my time, to share my gifts in certain places is different now than it was 10 years ago. And it's going to be different in 10 years than it is now. And being at peace with that, being okay with that, the only way to really do that, to be at peace with it and to be okay with it, I think is, well, two ways. One is to recognize what we don't have control over, of course, right? Which is easier said than done, but it is definitely a practice that I find to be incredibly empowering. And then two is to be intentional. Okay, so there are things that I don't have control over. There always will be. And so how do I want to intentionally show up right now? How do I want to intentionally focus right now? How do I want to intentionally share my time? How do I want to intentionally invest my efforts and the resources that I do have available to me? I want to do that very intentionally. And when I do that, I can find a sense of, right, like a sense of peace and a sense of calm. And so I wanted to come on here and just share that today, because I think that we so often forget that life is not supposed to be about all of these outcomes. Life is not supposed to be about all of these accomplishments. Life is not supposed to be about all of these achievements. Life is not measured by how much we get done by the end of it. Life is not measured by how much we push ourselves by the end of it. Life is not measured by how much even we force ourselves outside of our comfort zone by the end of it. It's not. That's not how life is measured. That's not how a sense of fulfillment is measured. That's not how these things are measured. They are experiential. Fulfillment is an experience. Satisfaction is an experience. Success is an experience. We cannot measure that outwardly in the way that we really, really want to so often. And so I think that if we can just take a moment to recognize that, hey, right now, maybe your life is good. Maybe your life is good right now. And you also have this sense of like, but I don't feel good all of the time. That's okay. Maybe your life is not all good right now. Maybe it's not where you want it to be. And you're really hard on yourself because you think that things should be different by now. It's okay. It's okay that you feel the way that you feel. Whether your life looks outwardly great, whether your life looks outwardly less than great or horrible or somewhere in between, however you feel, let yourself be allowed to feel it rather than force it away. And what I have learned is that when we do that, the internal fight with ourselves that we should or shouldn't feel a certain way, we should or shouldn't be a certain way, we should or shouldn't think a certain way, the internal fight with ourselves, it finds some relief. And when it finds some relief, when it eases a bit, then our mind can be a little bit less cluttered to begin to get intentional about where we actually do want to focus. But if we're fighting ourselves about how we should or shouldn't feel, or what we should or shouldn't do, or measuring success in a certain way, or how the season of our life isn't really a season because we're just a failure in general, or how whatever it is that's going through your mind, our minds, whoever's mind, that's making things harder right now, or that is dismissing something inside of you that needs to be acknowledged by you, whatever it is. If we could just take a pause today. This is something that I do with myself often. It's something I do with clients all the time. If we could just take a pause and say, it's okay. It is okay that I feel this way. It's okay that a part of me feels this way. Whether I think I should or shouldn't feel differently, I do. A part of me does feel the way that it feels right now. And I'm acknowledging that and I'm letting that be okay. Then instead of fighting ourselves with this internal civil war, we can start to harmonize with ourselves more. We can start to understand ourselves more. We can at the very least start not to have such a push-pull relationship internally with ourselves. And when we can do that, we can become more intentional because our mind is less stressed, our body is less stressed. And so our brain comes back online to allow us to be able to think a little bit more clearly. And that also, that surrender to trying to control it all and figure it all out or make everything right or good or the way it should or supposed to be, that surrender to not having to like try to figure all that out and fix it all, that allows us to more deeply connect with our life force energy, with our creator, with our God, with our higher power. And when we do that, we are more internally resourced, we are more internally supported, and we are able not just to move forward with more clarity, but we're also able to enjoy the here and now with more of a sense of satisfaction or contentment or peace or presence or ease or variety of some of those experiences. And so whatever part of this really needed to resonate or connect with you or does resonate with you and needed to be heard by you today or pull something up for you, I really encourage you to maybe go with that and explore that and see where that takes you. Of course, it's your choice. It's always your choice. But I know for me, this is something that I am continuously coming back to. In fact, if you have been following any of my episodes along this vlog series, you probably heard me talk about some variation of this in some way because it's just that important. It is just foundational for me to be able to reflect with this sense of, okay, maybe everything isn't as my overthinking brain in the moment thinks it should be, or maybe everything isn't the way that I think it should be based on how I think other people are perceiving me, or what I think society says that I should be, or what I think a successful entrepreneur is presented as being, or what I think a successful therapist is presented as being, or what I think a successful mentor is presented as being, or what I think a successful parent is presented as being, or blah, 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 blah. Like, I could keep going on and on and on and on. I get to define it my way because it's my life. And so do you. I get to define it my way. Do it my way. Do life my way. And when I can do that more intentionally, with more clear heart, more clear mind, then I know that I'm coming from this place of compassion and service and passion and purpose. And that is such a beautiful place, powerful place to come from, that I know that I am moving along. And I'm also able to just give myself permission along the way to enjoy and to be, and that it's okay. I don't always have to be going, doing. And sometimes my head can get wrapped up in that, even after so many years of being aware that I had this addiction to action that was really working against me for the first 2 decades of my life. If there's a major transition or something that is an unexpected stressor, I could catch myself, my brain going back to that place of wanting to be addicted to action again. Go, do. Right? I could catch myself, and I have. But now when I catch myself, right, I can catch myself with a sense of compassion, so I can redirect from a place of love and care, and therefore with more clarity and relief and ease, rather than from a place of beating up on myself or forcing myself or shaming or blaming myself or shaming or blaming someone else. And so I want to come on here to share this with myself, for me to reflect on and for me to deepen into, and also to share it here with whomever needs to hear it today, right now. Or maybe you're like, oh, I'm not ready to hear this right now, but maybe I'll come back tomorrow. That's okay too. Take what you need, leave what you don't. Until next time, y'all.